It is late Wednesday, July 10th, and we are now monitoring the remnants of Tropical Storm Chantal. Since the storm no longer has a closed surface circulation, the Hurricane Center has decided to downgrade the tropical storm back to a tropical wave. And it really comes as no surprise since the storm has been moving westward at 25 to 30 miles per hour, and now it's starting to run into very strong westerly winds in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. So simply put, the storm has been ripped apart, not to mention some of that convection along the northern semicircle of the storm is being shredded by the more mountainous terrain of Hispaniola and eastern Cuba. And out ahead of the remnants of Chantal, conditions really do not appear to be favorable for re-strengthening, at least within the next 1 to 3 days, because not only do we have some dry air to the immediate south and east of Jamaica, but the upper level westerly flow is expected to continue across the central and western Caribbean for the foreseeable future. The latest wind shear analysis confirms that we have at least 40 knots of westerly vertical wind shear just to the south of Cuba, and here's the color representation also showing very clearly that as the remnants of Chantal continue to move towards the west-northwest, if anything, conditions may just deteriorate even more for the prospects of redevelopment. Nonetheless, we still have the 12Z run of the Canadian CMC model showing the system redeveloping near the east coast of Florida and then making landfall as a marginal tropical cyclone in the Carolinas. And as you may have noticed, it also develops another system coming out of the mid-latitudes as it crosses southern Florida and into the Gulf of Mexico. It tries to develop this feature into a marginal tropical storm, and then it finally makes landfall across central and western Louisiana by day 7. However, the Canadian CMC is notorious for overdeveloping tropical cyclones in the tropics, so we're not expecting much from either one of these two systems. For comparison purposes, this is the most recent run of the American GFS model, the 18Z run, and as you can see, it takes the very broad remnants of what is left of Chantal into the southeast between Florida and the Carolinas, and that's pretty much what we're expecting at this point. Nothing more than some additional rainfall activity moving into the southeast coast, with this system moving inland as a tropical wave. Now, of course, we will still have to monitor this feature over the next few days as we would with any other tropical disturbance during this time of the year, but as of right now, some of the more reliable models are not showing much in the way of redevelopment into a tropical cyclone at this time. And finally, this is the 12Z run of the European ECMWF model. As we go into 48 hours or Friday morning, we can see what looks to be the low to mid-level circulation moving across the northern Bahamas. As we go into Saturday morning, it looks as though the low-level circulation may try to creep into the far northeast Gulf of Mexico, and due to the strong westerly vertical wind shear, the system is really decoupled, with two areas of low pressure trying to form on either side of the Florida Peninsula, which is a somewhat reasonable scenario, but it really comes out to be about what we saw with the GFS, with nothing more than some heavier rainfall maybe working its way into the southeast without much of a chance of redevelopment. And as you may have also noticed in the tropics, the models are also backing off on any development from any systems moving towards the Caribbean, at least within the next 6 days. So we are in fairly decent shape tropics-wise across the basin as of right now, but we will continue to follow things fairly closely for you here at 28storms.com. And in the meantime, you may also want to check out our social media page, especially facebook.com/28storms, where we continuously post more in the way of tropical weather information, along with severe weather updates across the country. And as a matter of fact, we had a rather impressive water spout that many people captured on video out across the Mobile, Alabama area this afternoon, and you can see some of those pictures on our page. Not to mention, we also have a fairly strong typhoon heading towards Taiwan, and you can get more information on that system by visiting 28storms.com/typhoon.